What we're doing here today is taking the opportunity to have all of our grantees from throughout the state of Louisiana come in and have a day at the legislature. Now, the purpose of that is to come in and inform legislators on the impact that our programs have throughout the state and within their respective districts.
It's Louisiana Children's Trust Fund. It's a fund set aside. We get $4 from every duplicate birth certificate as well as federal money that is set aside solely for the prevention of child abuse and neglect. It's the only fund that we have that's solely prevention oriented. And with that money through grants to nonprofit and public entities, we fund child abuse and neglect prevention programs statewide. These include such things as parenting classes, anti-bullying programs in school, professional training, public awareness campaigns, and school home visitation programs. So those are the 4 categories that we fund with child abuse and neglect prevention.
Unfortunately, we have too many incidences of child abuse and neglect, and so that's why we work with our grantees in the local area to go ahead and reduce those incidents. The Louisiana Children's Trust Fund was started 30 years ago, and they said, well, we've got these trust funds for our highways, we've got trust funds for everything else. Why don't we have a trust fund for our most important resource, our children? And that's how the Children's Trust Fund was started. And so Louisiana's Children's Trust Fund has been in existence for 30 years. And we're just proud of the fact that we're able to come together and help to reduce the incidence of child abuse and neglect throughout the state. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Children's Trust Fund Day at the Legislature. My name is Malcolm Myer, and I am the chairman of the board of directors for the Louisiana Children's Trust Fund. And it is a truly exciting day to see all of the grantees here and to see you come out and join forces to present our issues and our topics and our concerns to our legislators. I'd like to thank all of the legislators that are here, that are visiting, our board members, as well as I've already stated, our grantees, and all of the supporters that help us with the prevention of child abuse and neglect. The Louisiana Children's Trust Fund is a public-private organization committed to the prevention of child abuse and neglect by partnering with grassroots organizations across the state. This year, the Children's Trust Fund is celebrating, get this, 30 years of efforts in the state of Louisiana on behalf of the children. That's great. That's right, we're celebrating 30 years on behalf of the children and families in the state of Louisiana. Joining us in that effort today are several of our grantees from around the state. Exhibiting today in the rotunda are several of the organizations that join us in these efforts, and I'd like to go over them. First, the Louisiana Children's Trust Fund, the Louisiana Parntership for Children and Families, Together We Can Conference, Family and Youth Counseling Agency, Faith House, the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Baton Rouge, Grandparents Raising Grandchildren, Child Advocacy Services, Louisiana CASA, Louisiana FCCLA, United Way of Central Louisiana, and Jewish Family Service. And also, we'd like to take the opportunity to thank the Department of Children and Family Services for our wonderful partnership, because they actually house our office. So our executive director and staff are housed them. So thanks to the Department of Children and Family Services. Today we are launching an upcoming statewide public awareness campaign, Look Before You Lock. The campaign was created to address the high number of non-crash preventable fatalities involving children 14 years and younger. The majority of these deaths were as a result of heat stroke, as children were accidentally forgotten in vehicles. To create awareness around this, we have created a campaign in partnership with our grantee programs around the state. Each one of you should have received a little bookmark. We have flyers also and posters, and it's, did you forget something? Look before you lock. We have had so many senseless deaths that have occurred where children were left in cars, or children were kidnapped, or children died of a heat stroke as a result of being in a heated car. Look before you lock. We think this is a great campaign, and we need everyone that's listening today to join in our efforts to make sure that the campaign goes off well. Leaving a child alone in a car can quickly lead to heat stroke, kidnapping, or even death. 4 simple things can ensure all children safely exit the vehicle after every trip. 1, do things when placing the child in the car seat that serve as a reminder that a child is in the vehicle. Place a purse or briefcase in the back seat. Write a note or use a stuffed animal placed in the driver's view to remind you a child is in the car seat. Second, use a mobile phone alarm or a baby alarm app to remind you a child is in the car seat. Third, if you're dropping your child off at childcare and it's not your normal routine, have someone call you or the child care center to make sure that the child arrives according to plan. And fourth, make a habit of looking in every seat, front and back, before locking the door and walking away. Join us as we spread this message across the state to prevent these senseless tragedies from happening again. We have available materials in many formats. As I mentioned earlier, we have posters, we have bookmarks, we have flyers that we want to make sure that are handed out throughout the state of Louisiana. Or you can request materials by going to our website. The Louisiana Children's Trust Fund website is www.lctf.org. That's www.lctf.org. And you request materials and partner with us to help spread this word throughout Louisiana. Thanks to our legislators for their support. Thanks to the grantees for their partnership to get the job done in this field. Thanks to our board members, our volunteers, our grant reviewers, our advisory board, and all of those that have come together. And most importantly, our staff. Judy Harrison, who's our executive director, and Michelle Rabelais, her assistant, have done a tremendous job of working with all of us throughout the state. And I want you to come in, and we have cupcakes and inside the rotunda, and take the opportunity to speak to legislators, let them know about your programs, talk to them about the successes that we're having. So, on behalf of the Louisiana Children's Trust Fund, I want to say thank you for being here today, and let's keep moving forward. Thanks.
How serious is the problem of child abuse and neglect in Louisiana?
Well, I think the one thing we have to realize is that with every type of problem, there are tipping points. And right now, when you look at the things as date rape, the things with computer, cyber net problems, and now what's causing it is with the lack of housing, the lack of jobs, people that are getting unemployed. And when you have the stress in the family, then the tipping point becomes where you're going to see more child abuse and neglect, because the situation is the family's under a lot of stress. The parents are not able to be there and give the quality time. You have mothers that are single parent moms that are working 2 or 3 jobs and having to leave their child with unsupervised or with supervision of people they're not sure of. And so the problem just generates as far as the society. And right now we're in a dire need of economic problems with the society, which generates the problems elsewhere.
I think one of the most important factors the research shows is getting to the children and the parents early on, as early as possible, to make sure parents understand it's not rocket science to raise a child, but there are a lot of really important things like touching and hugging and spending time with the child, just looking at each other. So many of the children aren't ready for school when they get there. And not just the legislature, but all of us around the state, the churches, the nonprofits, the businesses, need to focus on helping each other make sure that the kids get what they need before they're even 4 years old, because those first few years are so critically important.
What advice do you have to parents of children of all ages?
Love your kid, spend time, look at the child, touch the child, hold the child. The good news is it's not rocket science, and the least little things you do have incredible effects those first few years. The bad news is the little things you do that aren't so good have big effects too. So it really takes some thought. Doesn't take a lot, but it takes some effort to make sure this kid knows he or she is loved, and this kid knows that success is out there.
Jewish Family Service offers a wider range of services, but one of the things we offer is our teen suicide prevention program called Teen Life Counts. It's an educational program that's in the metro area. It targets children in middle school and high school, teaching them the warning signs of depression and suicidal ideation, and helps them make a plan that if they or a friend is feeling very depressed or suicidal, that they need to tell a trusted adult. and how they can go about telling them. And we go into the schools and have a 3-day training on how children can be aware of what's going on around them. We also have trainings for teachers and school personnel on how to best help their students who are very depressed or having suicidal ideation.
How serious is the problem of teenage suicide in Louisiana?
It is, I believe, either the second or third leading cause of death in adolescents in the state of Louisiana.
What kind of progress are you seeing from your program?
There has really been tremendous progress. That we know that kids come up to us and tell us that they were very depressed, or they had a friend who was really very depressed, or and sometimes with adolescents, depression manifests itself by very risky behavior, high-risk behavior.
Parenting is crucial, and it really goes back to the very earliest days of parenting. When the child is born, those first 3 to 5 years are really crucial for brain development. There's a Harvard professor who says for brain development, age 3 is like middle age. And so child's development is really crucial in the early stages, the nurturing of the parents, the encouragement to sing and dance and play and to count, know the ABCs, to know colors. All of those things are real critical for a child's development, and especially so in Louisiana and getting a child ready for kindergarten.
We're FCCLA. We stand for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. We're the only student-led organization with the family as its focus. We help teens advocate on family, work, societal, and community issues through family and consumer sciences education. And anyone that goes to a school that has a family and consumer sciences or related occupations course is eligible for membership in FCCLA.
Why is it important that teenagers get involved at this age?
Because it teaches us our leadership qualities, and it helps you figure out what you want to do in life and what you are capable of doing.
Last year, I did a STAR event called Focus on Children, and I was focusing on child abuse and foster children. And what I did was I raised money to host a Christmas party for kids in foster care and give all of the children that were at the party personalized gifts, personalized to their needs and what they wanted. I was able to raise over $5,000 and help over 72 foster children, and I've been doing that for the last 2 years.
Why is it important that people get involved to assist foster children?
Because a lot of foster kids don't have people supporting them and being their backbone and giving them hope. So that's what I'm trying to do, and other people in the community are trying to do.
I think most parents don't realize their role in preventing child abuse, and it really does take every adult in every community helping us do what we do each day in keeping children safe. And their specific role is to use the 7 steps for protecting children, common sense things for children to keep them safe and protected.
And what are those 7 tips?
Well, definitely know your surroundings. We go out and train adults all the time that over 98% of offenses happen to children who have a very close relationship with that offender. And so what that tells us is parents can be more vigilant in knowing who those relationships are that their child is involved with.
You also use the dog as part of the therapy. Tell us about that.
We do. We have a new champion for children. Of course, our CASA volunteers and our staff are great champions. We have a new champion at Child Advocacy Services named Hayward. And we really go out and talk about if a dog can participate and offer protecting children better, then every adult can too. And he's been a great resource for our Advocacy Center.
I am very encouraged by the fact that our grantees have come in. I'm encouraged by the great staff we have at the Louisiana Children's Trust Fund, and I'm encouraged that we're able to go ahead and reduce the number of cases, that could rise.
If people have questions or like more information, what should they do?
Well, one, they can call 225-342-2245, which is the number over the Louisiana Children's Trust Fund, or they can go to our website at www.lctf.org.